What's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. Back from the break. Remember, you all can follow, subscribe to the KBR Sports podcast by going on Rabble TV, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Also, don't forget you can follow the KBR Sports Twitter page at KBR_Sports by going on Twitter. And yeah, I already said KBR_Sports. Sorry, messed up that read. And also, don't forget that you can call in at 571-991-0566 to give your thoughts and opinions on any KBR Sports show topic that may be getting discussed. And don't forget that the show streams every Monday and Wednesday and select Fridays from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So make sure you all tune in to catch the show live. It will always be a Twitter link tweeted to the KBR Sports Twitter page or posted through my own personal Facebook. So make sure you guys go add me and go follow the Twitter page at KBR_Sports. So that way you guys stay up to date whenever the KBR Sports podcast is posted and whenever it's streaming live. Okay, so jumping into this next topic, talking about New York Giants coach Ben McAdoo. This has been a whole different type of swing for the New York Giants that I don't think a lot of people saw coming. In all actuality, because the Giants coming into this season, the Giants were a lot of people's picks to be the NFC East winners to get the division crown, and then they ended up just kind of tricking everything off. In all honesty, when the Giants eventually lost, I think they were 0-5 at one point, I believe, or 0-4, and in the first game after Odell Beckham Jr.'s injury, I think it was 0-5. I think the first game after Odell Beckham Jr.'s injury, they ended up winning that game, and then they just kept losing ever since. But the Giants essentially, and now they sit at this moment at 1-7, and their team has had a little bit of has kind of gone off the rails, and it's a big surprise when you looked at how they had an 11-5 performance last year, and they showed so much promise, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, and then how they showed so much promise and how they were acquiring Brandon Marshall in this offseason. So now so many people are just surprised about how the Giants have regressed so much. But when to the original report, so per Josina Anderson of ESPN, that two players anonymously came to her and expressed to her that they feel as though Ben McAdoo has lost the team. This is a quote by one of the players who made his statement anonymously. He's got us going 80% on Saturdays before we get on a plane to play a game. It's wild. He changed our off day. He's dishing out fines like crazy. Suspended two of our stars when we needed them the most. He throws us under the bus all the time. He's ran us into the ground, and people wonder why we've been getting got. A second player also made comments under anonymity, and he said guys are giving up on the season and nothing's being done. Guys just don't care anymore. And especially after the 51-17 loss to the Rams this weekend. Shout out to my Los Angeles Rams. One of the worst losses at home for the Giants at MetLife Stadium. The players reiterated their points, saying that he didn't really have anything for us at halftime of that game. I feel like we don't really have a leader in Coach McAdoo. Now, one of the veterans on the team, Landon Collins, kind of refuted those claims and had this to say about the whole incident. McAdoo has been leading the same way he has led last year, so I don't knock the way he has been doing things. Finding people like crazy, he said it as a question. If you don't follow the rules, you get in trouble because you got to pay the consequences. I wouldn't say he lost the team. I have the utmost respect for him. He's been doing a great job just trying to figure out like we all are. And Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, who actually was suspended by McAdoo on October 11th after a sideline altercation, agreed with Landon Collins and his thoughts. Dominique DRC said, "I'm an old head. I've seen a lot of locker rooms, and I know for a fact that this locker room ain't lost. I seen a lost locker room. I know what guys do. They come to practice lackadaisical. They don't have a care. Nothing really matters no more, and I don't see that happening." So when you look at this standpoint of things, you kind of wonder. I mean, how long until the trigger's pulled? Because me and Nigel literally had questions 2 days ago, Monday, on a segment asking, is it time for the Giants to get rid of, just to clean house? I posed the question to Nigel that, is it time for the Giants to clean house? And Nigel said he feels as though it was time. And honestly, at this point, I mean, the only thing I'm clinging to for Ben McAdoo is the fact that they were 11-5 the year before. But essentially, if you average out how bad they're going to be this year and how good they were last year, they're a subpar team regardless. So at this point, And you just wonder how far down, like how far are the bridges burned to the point that you eventually do set the reset button and say, okay, we're Xing the whole thing. We're just gonna reset everything. We're gonna try and get this right by either bringing in a whole new coaching staff or whatever you got to do, and seeing how you can essentially hit the jump start on this team so they can get things in gear ahead of next season. Because a lot of times people go through the whole off season, then with the current coaching staff, and then they end up firing the coach when the team doesn't have a good start at the beginning of the next season. When the Giants are in a position right now, they're bad, and they could just fire this guy now, or fire him at whatever point they want to fire him at least maybe even at once they get through the season, and then fire him at the end of the season, and then bring in your whole new cast at the start of next season, or at the start of the off season. The Giants gave off the impression when they got rid of Tom Coughlin that he was, they were going to clean house and they were going to get rid of every bad part of the team. All they did was essentially go and get rid of Tom Coughlin. So essentially you were insinuating that he was the bad portion of the team. And essentially it looked like the right move, because when they start off 11-5, but then you regress this far to be 1-7 after acquiring so much talent. Yes, I know your receivers, losing Odell Beckham Jr. for the year is unseen. Brandon Marshall, seeing his injury, is unseen. But just for the team to regress this bad in terms of on both sides of the ball, like, you don't ever forget how to play defense, and it just seems like they don't have the heart on either side of the ball. So it's one of those things that you definitely end up questioning and just wondering, how can the team bounce back, and what's the best direction for this team to go in the near future. But all right, y'all, I'm going to transition to my last topic of the night, where I'm going to talk about LiAngelo Ball and the international incident he's gotten himself into in Shanghai, man. I'm not for it. I'm not with it, LiAngelo. I'm not with it. Your brother's playing on the 4-letter network right now, but he's playing right now against the Boston Celtics. So all support goes to him. But man, we all make mistakes. I'll just say that much. I say we all make mistakes. But all right, y'all. When I go to the break, remember there's a 50 to 60 second interval where the live link will disappear. Refresh the page, and it should be back up for you all to tune into. It is KBR Sports, the best sports talk show, your 24-hour day.